There is another way we can stop our application from fetching or making further requests to fetch data after the first time. Like if we already have the data, no need to fetch it again. This other way is from VueUse. Inside VueUse, search for useMemoize. It caches results of function depending on arguments and keep it reactive. It also used for asynchronous functions and will reuse existing promises to avoid fetching same data at the same time. In simple words, we can wrap any promise with this composable like this, and it will fetch the data once, then caches the response for future use. So if we use that in the store, let me import that. So import useMemoize from VueUse core and get our query on its own function like this. Let me write it here, constant load projects, and then say that this will be an async function that will await for the project's query like this, and wrap the whole thing with useMemoize. So useMemoize like this, and wrap it with parents. Then, instead of using the query right here, I'll delete that and use load projects instead. But of course, await for it. And with having useMemoize in place, we no longer need this if condition. We don't need an if condition to stop our fetching logic. After all, this useMemoize is going to trigger the fetch request once and cache the response for future use. It will never serve anything else, just what was cached. But there is a trick about this one. It relies on the dependencies or the arguments that will be passed to the function so that it creates a unique key for the cached response. So if we fetch a project by its ID, it will use the ID argument as the key that we can reach out to the cached response, clear it, and do anything we want with it later with. So this will be our key to the cached response. But since we don't need anything here, we're gonna need to fake something. So I'm gonna make an argument here called key and say that this is a string and pass to it the project's string. So this way I decided that the projects is going to be the unique key that will be used to store the cached response. Anyway, I'll save, back to the browser. Let me do a hard refresh. I'll just bring up the network tab again. Here it is. I'll do a hard refresh. Let me clear everything. I'll go to the tasks page and then back to the projects page. It's not loading. So everything is working and we're not firing any additional requests. No matter how many times we navigate away, if we navigate back to the projects page, we don't fire a single request. We use the cached response from useMemoize composable, which is pretty awesome. This composable is going to prove itself very useful when we start working on fixing the problem where our users are never getting any fresh data after the initial visit.